is, like, you know, cows, they're not really in nature. So, like, if we get rid of, like, the meat industry, like, you know, let's say it's just radical, like, you know, we cut it down just because, like, all the benefits and all the emissions and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're just gonna die, dude. We're not gonna have a need for them.
Yeah, we put them in sanctuaries. Hey man, how's it going?
Saw your little sign from over there.
All right, right on.
Yeah, my girlfriend's vegan, so I'm like, oh, that's
Excellent, very cool.
We're gonna have a little vegan meal right here.
Hey, right on, man.
Yeah.
Well done, well done. Keep up the good work.
I mean, I'm not vegan. Well, now that I'm hanging out with her, I'm more like considerate of like what I should eat.
Sure, yeah. That's what it starts with, just being a little bit more conscientious.
You know, health is wealth, and usually when you're eating a bunch of like foods that's like really processed, especially with like meat, you know, it's not really healthy.
No, it's true.
But I do think maybe a little bit of moderation, just a little bit, you know.
Okay. I mean, since you don't need it to be healthy, it seems like you're aware that the healthiest foods are, you know, a plant-based, you know, diet. So because it's not required for us to be healthy, eating animal agriculture products, what do you think?
Nice to meet you.
Sure, right. Even if we just had a little bit, though, what do you think justifies us murdering an innocent child or raping an innocent child in order to get their, you know, to get some breast milk or to get some dead flesh off their body? What's the justification? If we don't need it, right, for our health, then how do we justify it logically and morally?
Oh, I think the way that we do it, we just isolate it. We really don't even think about it.
Totally, yep. Just cognitive dissonance.
We're just like, oh.
We don't really put those blinders on.
Yeah.
Yep.
If we really think about it, then, you know, then we wouldn't want to do it, but we just ignore it, you know?
Yeah. Do you think that's a problem with society today, that so many people are disconnected from?
Yeah, you know, like, I remember, I think back a few years ago, people used to have, like, you know, flyers about, you know, dead animals, and I'd just be like, you know, it is what it is, you know?
Right. Yeah, so many people accept it. Do you think there's a reason that slaughterhouses don't have security cameras on the inside so that people can see what's going on?
Oh, probably, like, well, yeah, you know, who wants to see that type of stuff?
Exactly.
There's all those leaked videos of people just like kicking animals.
Sure. Even if they're not abusing them, you know, if they're stabbing them in the throat needlessly or inseminating them, you know, I don't know if you know how dairy works, but in order to get milk and cheese, we have to forcibly impregnate these young female cows. And so we have to go in there fist foot first up to our elbow and drop the insemination, you know, the sperm from a bowl that we manually jacked off. It's just very weird. It's disgusting. There's nothing in our evolution that suggests that we're supposed to be doing this, and it's destroying our health and the planet. So it seems like there's no reason left that even a little bit of dead flesh or a little bit of rape is okay. That's like saying, oh, I went to the women's rally march the other day and then I went home and I beat my wife. I only beat my wife on Mondays. So it's okay. Just a little bit of beating my wife. Come on, you know.
It's a moderation though.
Yeah, right. So, I mean, would we use that same excuse for any other social justice movement? Do you think it would hold up?
No.
Right. Totally. Yeah. So I think it's just kind of, like you said, making that connection between, you know, the animals that are being victimized and what we put on our plate. We do have the power as consumers. You know, there's a lot of things that just happen because it's a cultural trend, but we actually, as the masses, define what becomes a trend in our culture. So we can choose to fund cruelty-free products and have them brought into the markets more.
No one wants to do that, you know.
That's actually not true. Thousands of people have gone vegan just this month, and it's forcing people, even in just this community, stores to start bringing in more vegan alternatimes. So it's up to us, the consumers, if we want to see that change.
Yeah,
it's supply and demand system.
It's just not popular. Like that's the sad part.
Okay, at least your girlfriend's vegan, so I mean, is she the first vegan that you've dated?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's becoming increasingly more prevalent in your environment, at least as an individual. You're starting to see probably more vegan options available at the stores. You're meeting more vegan people. Now you're dating a vegan person.
It's kind of tough because like we went to a restaurant. You know, I was being more conscious because you know I want her to like feel included, and I don't want to just be like, you know, chowing down on steak, whatever.
Right. So it's very nice of you.
I'm looking at the menu. I'm like, oh my god, there's cheese, there's meat, meat, fish, and honestly, I was like, oh my god, like they're almost it. Like, yeah, there really wasn't many options, almost none.
Yeah.
And then we went to a specific restaurant that was just vegan. It was like, you know, more cool.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I mean, it's as easy as when you, no matter where you are, even in like a food desert, if you go to your local market or a local grocer, you're just going to be substituting the meat, dairy, and eggs products for a can of beans or, you know, some
or chia seeds and water.
Right, chia seeds and rice and lentils and quinoa, all that good stuff, and you're gonna save money too in the long run.
Time. big time. So expensive just to get meat, you know, like just like giving that type of animal like water,
Exactly.
food for it, so it can like gain weight. They have byproducts with it, but you know.
Totally. You seem like a smart guy. You seem like you're aware of like the environmental problems and the health problems.
Of course.
Yeah.
I like to think that, you know, I dabble in it.
Yeah, nice. What do you think would be the biggest thing that keeps you from committing full time to just living an ethical lifestyle?
I'm an unethical man, as you can see.
You know, it's not saying that you know, we're good or bad people. It's saying, you know, even good people do bad things sometimes.
Yeah.
You know, 27 years of my life, I paid to have innocent children raped and murdered. There are children in the meat and dairy and egg industries that we repeatedly rape and murder for dairy and meat and stuff like
when
that.
you say children, you mean like the livestock?
Yeah, right.
Okay. I was like, oh, children.
Yeah, innocent individuals, young individuals, as soon as they're born, you know, if they're a female in the dairy industry, that female is put onto what we call a rape rack, and they're repeatedly raped until they're exhausted and they can't do it. Then we cut their throat and we turn them into hamburgers. So it's a very sick cycle, and I didn't realize that. I thought it was an omnivore. I thought I had to get these things to be healthy, but recent studies indicate that no, we're actually herbivores. You know, we don't need to be eating these products at all. There's nothing in our evolution, there's no biological imperative that requires us to consume these things. So then I realized, well, now I'm just at this point, when I pay for these things, I'm saying my taste buds are worth more than the life of an innocent individual, a baby, a little child. You know, that's not right. I can't morally justify that. My taste buds are worth more. A sensory pleasure is worth more. That's the same excuse cannibals and rapists use. They say, you know, oh, well, I got sensory pleasure out of raping that person, so it's totally worth it. And we can no longer, now that we have the evidence, we can no longer, you know, be consistent in our morality and what we believe in while
like
still eating those.
Like that's like that you aren't getting enough. Like, you know, like with meat, like maybe like low iron, or maybe like
okay, yeah,
or maybe like something like one thing I noticed about her nails is like they're really like soft, and you can kind of bend them. Mine are like pretty strong.
Okay,
I'm
interesting.
I'm not sure if it's genetics. Who knows?
Right.
Like, but maybe it has.
If you're eating a varied whole food plant-based diet, you're getting lots of just whole food plants in their, you know, normal state, not processed, then you should be getting all your nutrient needs met. There's a great resource called Chronometer. It's online. You can put in everything you ate. It's super simple, and it'll show you whether you're meeting. Yep. And it'll show you whether you're meeting your nutrient intakes and exactly where you're lacking. Cron is C-R-O-N. Yeah, you got it.
C-R-O-N-meter?
O-N-O meter, yeah, Chronometer.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, and you can also, there's resources here too. I'd love if you were interested to take a card. This is the health stuff. If you go to nutritionfacts.org, you'll be able to just search through their website, type in anything you're interested in, whether it's a nutrient or a type of food, you know, eggs, dairy, fish, pork, beef, B12, protein, you name it, whatever it is, type it in there and you can get a nice little short 2-minute video based on the overwhelming top-tier scientific data on exactly what we know. It's not a vegan site or anything, it's just a nutrition site that it turns out the overwhelming data is showing consistently that plant-based diet, whole food plant-based, is the best for our health. But yeah, I mean, you want to be like tracking with any type of diet, you want to be making sure that you're having well-prepared meals, that you're getting your nutrient needs met. And it's actually way easier to do on a plant-based diet because all meat is a carcinogen, you know, and dairy causes cancer and diabetes and all these other issues.
I do like diabetes. That's in my family.
Yeah, really, yeah. So, I mean, you can fight that. You can, even if you have a genetic predisposition, you know, our genes, they say, doctors will say, you know, our genes are what loads the gun, but it's our choices in our lives that pulls the trigger on these, you know, very deadly diseases and health problems and stuff like that. But yeah, so I mean, there's the common thing like protein and iron. You hear that all the time. Are you getting enough protein on a vegan diet? It turns out
your hands are always cold, you know.
Oh, interesting. Poor blood circulation or something.
Hope not.
I mean, those are things that you can always look at. But no matter what, as long as she's abstaining from animal agriculture products, she's going to be significantly healthier than, you know, even if she is going to have some health problems, she's still going to be way healthier than eating a carcinogen. You know, if cigarettes had a little bit, or asbestos had a little bit of protein in them, would we eat them 3 times a day or feed them to our kids? No, of course not. That would be crazy. And that's meat. Meat is right up there with asbestos and cigarettes as a carcinogen. It's so weird that we think we need this stuff. And then the iron that you find in these animal agriculture products is actually heme iron, which is the catalyst for cancer. So you don't need the heme iron. You can go straight to a plant source and get tons of just regular iron that your body's made to ingest. Yep, exactly. Beans, rice, lentils, you got it, man. Yeah, leafy greens, dark leafy greens, that sort of stuff. Yeah.
Have you ever met an obese vegan?
Yeah, well, I don't know, probably not obese, but maybe overweight. Yeah, a little bit overweight. It's definitely possible. Our weight comes from the leading killer of vegans is oils. So if you're adding oil into your food, if you're just eating like nuts and almonds, probably not going to be an issue. But you want a high carb, low fat diet. So a lot of like lentils, high carb foods, rice and stuff like that. And then a little bit of almonds and nuts and seeds mixed in there too. A little bit of fats and oils. But you don't want to be adding oil into your food. So many people are accustomed to just dumping oil whenever they cook something. You dump oil on it. You don't need to do that at all. It's not good for your health, and it doesn't change anything except make your food less healthy. Sure, yeah, and you can use, there's other things, you can put, teriyaki sauce or something like that in there if you want to, give it a little, make it crispy and give it something to marinate in as it's cooking. But yeah, those are the people, usually it's people that are eating highly processed foods because those all have oil in them, or that are cooking oil into their meals. They usually will put on some extra weight.
Yeah.
But yeah, overall, the leading way to address obesity and diabetes is through a whole food plant-based diet. So people are finding they drop the weight quickest when they just move to whole food plant-based.
It doesn't have that many calories, compared to like. Or I don't know.
Yeah, and you can still eat. That's the cool thing about whole foods plant-based. You want to make sure you're still eating the same calories. A little piece of meat's going to have lots of calories in it, but it's not going to have lots of nutrients. So it's going to tell your body you're full when it's a false message being sent to your body because it's not full of nutrients. It's just full of fats and stuff like that. So you want to make sure that you're eating an abundance of plants to match that amount of calories that you would have gotten from an animal agriculture product. But the cool thing is, I still eat a lot of the same foods I eat. Ice cream, pizza, pasta, and I eat them in abundance. I eat a ton. Yeah. You can get cashew milk ice cream or oat milk ice cream or soy milk ice cream, almond milk ice cream. Cashew milk's the best one.
I heard
cashew milk's the best.
I heard that soy milk or something has something to do with like estrogen. Like, have you heard something about
There was some science back in the 80s and 90s that came out saying that. That's all been dispelled now. It's all a myth. More research that we have, we're finding that actually eating like dairy is what's causing hormones to go up. You think about it, because dairy milk, you know what dairy is. It's from a mother who's lactating to feed her baby, and she's pumping out tons of hormones to get the baby to grow, to a 400-pound cow in like 6 months, in a really short amount of time. Humans aren't designed to be drinking the breast milk of another species. We're not baby cows meant to fatten up to 400 pounds. So that's where we get a lot of the hormones and estrogen and stuff like that. But soy isn't really that much of a problem as far as estrogen goes.
My roommate told me about it. I was too lazy to search it up, and I was like, oh man, who knows?
Yeah. Check out the those documentaries Under the Health. They go over all that. They kind of debunk those myths on the downfalls of a vegan diet.
Okay.
Yeah.
You want to take a picture here?
Of course, man. I'd be flattered.
Okay. Why do you have a camera there?
I just post this on social media. I have a channel online, Action Jackson, where I go around the streets of Chico doing this kind of activism.
Am I gonna be on there?
Yeah, if you want. Yeah.
That doesn't bother me.
Right on.
Okay, now I'm gonna ask him to see if they took a little Snapchat.
Oh, excellent. I'm flattered, man. I appreciate you taking the time to come and chat with me.
Oh yeah,
You're a nice guy.
Oh yeah, why not? Do you guys have a second? Let me just take a picture right here. Just make sure you get the sign. Thank you.
I appreciate it. Thanks for doing that.
Thank you all. It was nice meeting you.
Yep. What was your name?
Gerardo.
Right on. Well, tell your girlfriend I said hi. I'm proud of you both.
Will do.
Keep up the good work, guys.
Well, I'm trying it out. I'm not 100% into it, but I for sure, ever since I started hanging out there, drastically cut down my meat intake. I was like, awesome. Makes me feel weird. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and just, I used to think it would be this hard, radical, extremist lifestyle. Then I started doing it and I went, oh my gosh, this is so easy. How was when you go to have a dairy product, or you're at the store and you want to buy some cheese, you can move your arm 12 inches this way and get the vegan cheese, or the vegan dairy product, or the plant-based meat. They have Beyond Meat, they have Impossible Burgers now and stuff. So it's super easy. And each time you do that, just think, I don't know if you've seen footage of cows being raped repeatedly or having their children taken away, right after they're born, having their throat slit.
I've seen that.
It's weird, man. It's sick. So if you just keep that in your mind, keep the victims on the forefront, because it's often when we are oppressing others that we forget about putting ourselves in the perspective of the victim. It's easy to think, oh, they're lesser than, but they're sentient. They feel love, they feel pain, they feel suffering, they have families, brothers, sisters, mothers, fathers, cousins, and we go in and we just breathe them into existence to enslave, exploit, mutilate, torture them, rape them repeatedly, and then slit their throat. There's nothing okay with that. It's just like, during the suffrage movement where we said women are lesser than, or during civil rights where we were saying, hey, black people are lesser than. They don't deserve to have it. And then we realized, oh no, they deserve just as many rights as we do. They're just as sentient as we are. And, it's not to say that, oh, a chicken has the same intelligence as a human, so they need to be treated as equals. No, we're not going to start allowing chickens to drive cars and buy houses and all this stuff. It's just exactly understanding that they aren't so lesser than that they deserve to be murdered. That's all it's saying. It's saying my taste buds alone aren't worth more than the life of an innocent, little animal.
The thing is, cows, they're not really in nature. So, if we get rid of, the meat industry, let's say it's just radical, we cut it down just because, all the benefits and all the emissions and whatnot.
Yeah.
They're just going to die. We're not going to have a need for them.
Yeah, we put them in sanctuaries. But just keep in mind, the only reason they exist in the first place is because we keep paying to have them bred into existence. So as we stop paying, that's how supply and demand works. Once we stop demanding that they're bred into existence to be enslaved and slaughtered, then they'll slowly kind of trickle out in their population. And the remaining ones, we can let them live out their lives at a sanctuary somewhere, grazing naturally, helping to repair the land, that type of stuff. Yeah.
For sure, I think probably 90% will be gone though.
Yeah. I mean, that's okay though. I mean, what we were what about look at dog breeding, for example. Is it okay that we forcibly breed dogs into existence just to have them fight against each other, to have them maul each other to death? No, but the argument for allowing dogs to maul each other to death, allowing dog fighting, isn't, oh well, we're giving them life. We're blessing them with the existence of life, so they should be appreciative of that. No, they shouldn't be. If I bred you into existence, or if I had a human child, only to be enslaved, raped, and eventually murdered and consumed, would that make it okay that I bred that child into existence? That child probably wants to live a free life, free of suffering and torture, right?
Probably kill himself if anything. A lot of trauma.
If he can, if I let him. But that's the thing, is these animals are kept in captivity. They can't even kill themselves. They try to escape. They sit there hours throughout the day trying to chew their way out through these metal cages until their gums are just bloodied. They clearly don't want to be there. They're trying to avoid all this torture and enslavement, but we keep them there. So instead, we could just set them free, let them live out a happy, normal life, and stop forcibly breeding them into existence. We do have some wild, cows out there. They're not the same breed as our domesticated cows, but these are cows that we took the most benevolent, kind, very sweet, docile creatures that trust us in our environment, and we genetically manipulated them to be even more docile, to be our slaves, a whole new breed of animal that will be subservient and do whatever we tell them to, and fight as little as possible. Isn't it interesting that we don't breed lions into existence to kill them? No, that would be so hard to mass breed lions to try to kill them for their flesh. So instead, we take advantage of animals that are far more vulnerable.
More beneficial for people get fatter, produce milk.
Yeah, we specifically choose them for that, but again, it doesn't necessarily justify doing it. We kind of should just let them live out their lives. I worked at a sanctuary down in Orland just a little while ago, and it was awesome.
One with the lions?
No, that's like a wildlife type of reserve. This was a farm sanctuary, so they had chickens, cows, and pigs, ducks, and animals that we that had a health problem at the farm and they couldn't be processed for food or exploited anymore. And so the farmers gave them up to us, and we had hundreds of animals there, and they all just lived free, roaming the land out there in Orland. It was really cool. It's really cool to see. So these animals, it's not like we're just killing them, you know, we're giving them a life that's, you know, free of suffering.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah.
I gotta go.
Hey, thanks for chatting, man. Hey, you're a good guy.
Take care, man.
Have a good day.